Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dihaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tava Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om. Okie dokie. Namaste. We have seen last week a verse or two describing the nature of samadhi. The first one was presenting samadhi as a mental state of great tranquility, if I remember well. And the second one was samadhi is the vision of no duality, the darshan. So you see that everything is Brahman, and you keep somehow that vision alive in your intellect. So the first was a state of tranquility, and then a vision such as Purnatva vision, no, Atma Darshana. And then it takes us to the verse of today, which is 21, in which he presents another two definitions of samadhi. One should know that to be samadhi, wherein one appreciates that limitless ananda, which is beyond sense organ, and which is grasped by the intellect, and remaining in which one does not slip from it, from this true nature. So we know that it should bring about tranquility, a sense of equanimity, and it comes from the vision, Vedantic vision of non-duality. Everything is only I consciousness. And then it comes with a fragrance of ananda, which is inherent to one's true nature as limitless conscious existence of non-dual nature. If it's limitless, it can only be non-dual. So this knowledge has all of these expressions of samadhi. Is almost like different fragrance or feels to it, or different aspects of the fruits of this self-knowledge, based on jnana, a mind resolved, pacified by jnana. So here he says that one is going to experience a sense of ananda. And this ananda is not coming of happiness, satisfaction, peace. It's not coming from any object contacted by the sense organs. So it's beyond the sense organs. So to speak. And it is what? Is a chitta ananda, or intellectual ananda, a knowledge ananda, jnana, jnana ananda, as in some, towards the end of the Gita, Swami Lord Krishna presents, is much superior to the jnana ananta than the experiential ananta. So this is the knowledge in regards to one's nature, is one without the second, therefore it's limitless, and therefore one enjoys this fragrance of ananda, satisfaction and peace, which is inherent. And it's not through the sense organs, because it's not something outside that requires my sense instruments and my sense organs to contact. So I'm not getting satisfaction and peace from anything of this world. I'm getting satisfaction and peace from my inherent true inner nature as consciousness, once you know it. So therefore it's said to be beyond sense organ. And then the other aspect is once it's grasped by the intellect, it makes a point that is a jnana knowledge. No, it's a knowledge that happens in the instrument of knowledge, which is the intellect. And then it says once it remains firm, not subject to forgetfulness, one remains there, because after all, is one's true fundamental nature. So once you know, now he's pointing out to the fact that the third aspect here is a sense of peace and satisfaction. And then the other thing is that once one uh, gets properly stabilized with that certainty and how you say uh, steadiness and doubtless knowledge, one does not slip from it. So one is going to enjoy this sukha at all times. In the background, there is a sense of peace and satisfaction, uh, and so on. So two other aspects. Again, those are different angles for us to analyze what is often present as the fruits of self-knowledge. Okay, in which way it's worth it. So I'm gonna do all of that for just a little piece, and then the scriptures, in order to motivate us, presents different aspects of this very subtle fruit, result of self-knowledge, which is not seen by anybody in the world with a not extremely subtle mind. A person who does not have a subtle mind will never find any benefit in anybody who has a self-knowledge. I mean, they could look and see Raman and say, what did he gain from that? He has not gained anything. He's all the time, he hurts his body and his body structure, bone structure is all deformed. He's poor, and I mean, one cannot see these invisible, extremely subtle fruits of self-knowledge, problem of self-knowledge. So those are the two definitions. One is the sukham, Atma sukham, as a pleasure of knowing I am this Atma. And he says that is the highest possible Ananda. One owns up the highest Ananda. So as we know, we need to claim on. And then once it's really doubtless owned and claimed, and then one is experiencing a highest level, a highest possible Ananda. As I usually say to my students in Brazil, the highest Ananda, the highest satisfaction, the highest happiness is what? Peace. Ananda, Shanti, peace, peace. Peace is the highest, but it's underestimating the world, and other kinds of experiential through the sense organs, Ananda or happiness, is overestimating in the world. So peace is the highest Ananda. It is a limitless, it's a peace which is Ananda, Sukha, satisfaction, pleasure. It's a different kind of pleasure. Ananda also means fulfillment, which is totally different from the experiential sense pleasures. So I'm fine, I'm full, I'm satisfied. The good word that James used to put is I'm satisfied. Thank you. Oh no, but eat a little bit more. No, I'm full. And then he used to be, and I don't know now, a big eater. So now I'm satisfied. So sukham means no, I'm full, I'm satisfied. There is no room for anything. Nothing can be added to my satisfaction here. So another means satisfaction, a sense of fulfillment. And all the experiential sense pleasures are finite, as we know, in terms of time, in terms of space, place, and quality. It's full of defects. It is. It's not. It is. It's not a very nice ananda. The ananda we get from gaining what we want to avoiding what we don't want. It's not a really very nice ananda. They are finite, they don't last much. Very soon the mind comes up with other things to gain or to avoid, and then that little ananda just disappears quickly. Timely it disappears, especially it disappears because I get ananda if I'm here in this ananda. goes away when I have to go to the office to do my job, for example. So this evident finitude is time-wise finitude and the space-wise finitude. Experiential pleasure is always time-bound and is always limited by space as well. That's why people all when they talk about happiness, they always say, "I was so happy. It was such a great joy." Yeah? You never hear people say, "Oh, I am so happy. I live in such a great joy." No, usually it's a memory of a fleeting moment in which you somehow got what you wanted, but not knowing a better Nanda, you over overrate that one, yeah, as the wonderful Ananda. But it immediately it becomes something of the past. That's why we always refer, people always say, I had a greatest joy of my life, and so conditions. It was always in the past, never here. I had a ecstatic bliss. I was blissed out. Well, blissed, and that he was out, blissed out. It was in the past and I lost it. That's why I got bliss. I lost myself into the sense pleasures, fleeting, poor, defect, satisfaction. Any experiential pleasure is time bound, and the quality is poor. It can be always be improved, meaning to say, oh, no, it should be better, should be more intense, should last a little bit longer. And then Swami gives some example. If it is music, no? In a festival, anything. So there is a moment that you're in a good mood, and the players are in a good mood, and then there is a good performance, and the music is wonderful, and then say, "Wow, this is very nice. I had such a bliss experience listening to this music." But it's all the time changing the experiential pleasure. No? It is an ananda obtaining in samadhi only. If it is an ananda obtaining in samadhi only, then only it will be limited pleasure. Suppose if a person says, I get the highest pleasure in samadhi, it will be limit or limitless. Okay, now let's talk about the experiential samadhi, because people do deep meditation to get a certain param result, which is pleasure. Okay, satisfaction, peace, and this peace is something that fluctuates, and it's something that requires you to be there, yeah, somehow doing your sadhana. The moment you suspend your sadhana, so that satisfaction or peace goes away. So this is also through meditation. We have to remember that meditation brings about a certain mental state. A mental state is is an object of experience, as we know. You understand? And this samadhi, which is a mental state, okay, it's still fluctuating, changing, having priya, amoda, and pramoda, okay, and then it comes and it goes, okay, it's limited, okay. So, what is the difference between this samadhi that requires a profound, a long-term practice of deep meditation to get a certain mental state, which is not something that remains forever. It requires great practice and effort and dedication. From the Samadhi pointed out as the Jnana Samadhi, no, or Samadhi gained by Jnana, self-knowledge. The difference is, what is the difference? So, can you tell me? Because both are states, both are experiential. Okay.
What was the question again, Arlindo? The difference between...
Here, Swami is bringing up something. It says that if you do meditation to get samadhi, know that that samadhi is going to be limited by time because it requires an effort to somehow to to develop a mental state. And as we know, a mental state is something in a flux of change. It can never be frozen, can never become permanent because although it's a subtle mental state, yet is an object of experience and it's limited by time, beginning, middle, and end, and variations. Okay? So, and then you say, oh, I got the highest pleasure in samadhi. So it means that samadhi is something that come and go because the samadhi is a state. That's why people say in samadhi, I had the greatest bliss of my life. I enjoyed so much the bliss of samadhi. But when I come out of samadhi, I felt an even bigger pain because now I experience something which is not permanent. And now I have to experience myself in a total different mountain state of mind with all the variation as I interact with the world. And I feel even more miserable. And then he brings it to like it's as if scorpions stings are making me such a profound pain now because I came out of that state. I don't know if I shared with you. We had a friend there in Olympia, Washington. She was a nurse and she had out of the blue. She woke up in the morning and she was so blissed out. She was a nurse and she went back to her job and she was so surprised because she hated her job. And she stayed in that state for a certain number of days. I forgot if it is 10, 13 days or something. They used to play and joke the 13 days of enlightenment of the name of the person. So, and then one day, and then when she saw it, like, oh, there was a shift here. So now I got it, I'm awake, I'm light. And then one day out of the blue, she gets up in the morning and she has a thought in her mind that says, shit, I have to go to work. And when that thought feeling came into her mind, she suspect, oh, something happened here. And from that moment, the old general state of mind came back. That samadhi state of mind disappeared. It never came back. And she became much more miserable. She used to come to my satsangs in my house on Sundays when I was still living there. She became even more miserable because she experienced a certain state and the state just left you. Every state, every object of experience, be it a person or something physical or a state which is a subtle object, is bound by time and space and it come and it go. And it is what? It's experiential object of experience or pleasure. So you enjoy that. And then he say, if your samadhi is experiential only, so it's going to be just coming and going, okay? Because it is experiential pleasure that you are there. But my question here is, so with self knowledge, we enjoy a certain experiential state as well. When we say that the yoni experience uh, properly or not properly pacified or resolved mind by the means of yana, of Atma yana. So you have Atma yana, you have self-knowledge, and your mind resolves itself by a totally different means. You understand? And then you experience a state. This state is often described as Sahaja Samadhi. So it's a mind in a certain state, which is still subject to certain fluctuation as you interact with people, places, and things and circumstances. But the mind is much more stable and peaceful in spite of fluctuations, which are unavoidable as we interact. So, what is the difference between this experiential samadhi gained by yoga, okay, uh, Nivikalpa Samadhi or Savikalpa Samadhi from the Sahaja Samadhi, which is the nature of Samadhi gained by Atmayana. What is the difference if both are objects of experience? Now, we talk about the fruits of self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is made out of knowledge and knowledge alone. The fruits is what? The experiential avananda, experiential tranquility, experiential, So what is the difference? Because otherwise, why are we trying to get this jnana rather than go into meditation and getting this experiential samadhi? Okay, if both of them are states, they change and they are subject to change. Let's say. So what is the difference?
Years of
The difference
nityasana.
is,
Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I was going to say, the difference is the Vedanta Samadhi is not dependent upon our mind. Once the knowledge is firm, the mind can fluctuate, and you've still got this underlying sense of peace and happiness, no matter the state of the mind.
So, this is a good answer. It's a good answer. It actually is very profound. But as we know, the samadhi experienced by the Yanni, and Swami Paramarthamanda is very honest about that, is just a mind on a certain state of peace and satisfaction, which is derived from the understanding of my purna nature, you understand? And then it leads to my inferior nature, and then my inferior nature enjoy the knowledge, having the knowledge of my purna nature, purna, and then I enjoy a sense of peace and satisfaction, which fluctuates because it's, after all, is a state. Okay, so what's the difference? The difference is very, very simple, but we cannot say that because otherwise people are not going to be that much interested, because people are not much interested in Vedanta to begin with. And because they have this huge drive towards experience, sensory experience, rather than knowledge. So this knowledge is going to change the overall mental state, in the case of the yoni, in the sense that the mind is going, instead of fluctuating like this, it's going to fluctuate like this. You understand? The fluctuation is there because any state of mind fluctuates, but that stability that Swami mentions, that strength and balance to deal with diversities and even tragedies, is there in the mind of Yanni because of what the samadhi there, the peace and satisfaction is there, gained by the understanding of one's true nature. And then if my inferior nature, which is the body mind sense complex, start fluctuating a little bit, because now what's happening? Oh my God, there is a huge threat here. Maybe I'm going to go broke. Maybe I'm going to go bankrupt. Maybe I'm having a terminal disease, whatever, So that is a thought that affects the mind. But there is another thought there which is totally in harmony with my true nature, which is my nature is Purnatva. I am the only reality. Nothing of this world I experience through this body mind, which includes this state, can affect my true nature. So that knowledge, once it's from there, it minimizes the fluctuations and brings about the sense of equanimity or stability or balance or strength to deal with situations of life. So the basic difference, it's still a experiential state. It's a state, in the case of the unit, that does not fluctuate as much, fluctuate little, okay? And the more firm, the more present at all times, the more deeply rooted in the subconscious mind, the more it minimizes, any shocks. You remember Swamiji talking about a shock absorber, or airbag, I say, So that knowledge is going to, no problem. There's no real need to be totally concerned and excited, because, I know that my true nature cannot be touched or affected by anything that happens to my state of mind. So the state of mind gaining much more stability, okay, but still fluctuates, okay? But it's based on knowledge. It's not based on experience that you have to work hard to control your experience. I often say that meditation is an effort to control your experience. So it now is based on knowledge. And then knowledge is that which is, once it's known, it's always good. You understand? And then circumstances are there, the state may fluctuate a little bit, but the knowledge, 2 plus 2 is 4, is never subject to be challenged. The knowledge of your true nature is not It's never going to be subject to be challenged. You understand? So we are not talking about experiential pleasure, the ananda, because here we are talking about two levels. So the intellectual ananda or the jnana ananda, the ananda gained through knowledge, is made of knowledge and knowledge alone, as Swamiji sometimes says. Is knowledge and knowledge alone. Okay? But you live in the world and interacting with the world, you are an experiencing entity. And then this intellectual knowledge should also benefit my experiencing jiva, the feelings I have, the sensations I have, so I want to be happy. I want this self-knowledge, firm self-knowledge, to give something on the experiential level as well. If there was no experiential element to self-knowledge, nobody would really go for it. You understand? So what happens is that we are not talking about experiential pleasure because it's knowingness, it's knowledge of the true nature. Krishna says it's ananda born out of knowledge. Sure, absolutely. It happens in the internet, in internet intellect. Internet is really dangerous. So very soon they are going to have an eye just shipping us or putting a new program of enlightened one on each one of us. So it is it's born out of knowledge. And it happens in the internet. It is a peace and satisfaction born out of wisdom, beautiful, born out of knowledge. What knowledge? I am the only reality. I am Purna. My nature is consciousness, existence, one without a second. I am Purna. I'm Purna. I'm Purna. I will ever be Purna. So there is nothing that can affect this. So this is the Nididhyasana, and as Lynn said, so it may take some years of Nididhyasana, but yoga as well has to go through years or lifetimes to develop Samadhi, Sankalpa or Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So in both cases takes effort. The only difference is the effort of the path of knowledge is going to bring a result that's not subject to disappearing, because knowledge, once it's gained, it's always good. You understand? Especially self-knowledge. Any doubt?
You can't have doubts because you don't wait for this gift. It just comes every step of the way. It's more and more full, this is why the intellect transforms into this ananda throughout.
Absolutely. Well said. Once we have this firm, clear, doubtless understanding of our true nature. No? And then he says something here, I am Purna. Then when I get up, and then I feel that I am a Purna, and then I'm in trouble again. Yeah? After coming out of my profound Samadhi, in which I was saying, I'm Purna, I'm Purna, I'm Purna. Do not get up and go. So Purna alone. So therefore, Ananda, born of knowledge, is permanent because knowledge can never be displaced by time. So when you just try to, in the language of Shine Word, try to manipulate and control the gunas to have an experience of satisfaction, so that changes once you suspend your effort. But once you have the knowledge, so you have a certain purna, a palam, or certain fruits, results that is somewhat permanent. It's permanent in terms of knowledge, because knowledge is never forgotten, self-knowledge. But the palam, experiential palam, is always there with a little bit of a fluctuation depending on the circumstance. So why the knowledge is never is always there, permanently there, because knowledge cannot be displayed such as the knowledge 2 plus 2 is 4. So any experience cannot displace knowledge. Okay. Therefore, if Mayananda comes from wisdom, the knowledge can never be shaken, and it is that I am Purna nature, fulfilled nature. Therefore, this sense of completion, born of wisdom, is called Atyantika Sukham. So, which is Buddhi, another expression. Therefore, only it means that what is beyond sense pleasures, because sense pleasures are invariably finite. So, again, the same concept. So, this knowledge will never be shaken, even in the worst possible circumstance. Okay, and maybe even more present in certain circumstances. Some people say, "Oh, if circumstances are diverse, my mind loses it." Okay, but just imagine the most the most extreme adversity, such as terminal disease and death. I mean, once you are in this body, I mean, this knowledge, my nature is conscious existence of limitless nature. Maybe it becomes even more affirmed, because I say, now I'm leaving this body, I'm leaving this physical world. Okay, thank you. I have this knowledge. I am conscious existence of limitless nature. Nothing can touch me. Thank you, Maya Shwara, for the opportunity. So, whatsoever the circumstance, this knowledge is not going to be forgotten. That's the promise of the Upanishads. Okay. Therefore, it's beyond whatsoever I am experienced through my sense organs. The third definition is the samadhi is what? Is a font, the source of, and therefore the third definition of samadhi is what? Atyantika Sukham. It's claiming only your Purna nature. In the second line of this same verse, the fourth definition is that it is what? It's a firm knowledge. It must become a firm knowledge, hard and fast knowledge. Krishna used the word he knows the pleasure, indicating the Ananda is in the form of knowledge or wisdom. It's Ananda derived from what? From a form of knowledge, wisdom. So Ramji used to say that it's a sense of confidence that nothing can really touch you. Peace and confidence. You remember the concept of confidence as Ananda? Then comes the fourth definition in the second line. Remaining this absorption, abiding the Atma, meaning to say abiding in the unforgetful knowledge. Okay, doubtless knowledge. One does not deviate from the certainty of self-knowledge. One does not get confused with one's anatma nature as the body-mind, because he has developed such a training, which is such a deep vasana, aham brahmasmi, so that abidance remains natural and effortlessly. Okay, it's there, I am consciousness, and it feels good. And it feels good, why? Because everything that's natural feels good. Everything that's natural feels comfortable. Like a person learning to drive a bicycle. Now, in the beginning, great effort to find the balance, but after many falls, one finds that balance. And then one drives comfortably, even in the crazy traffic of Tiruvannamalai, in which people driving bicycles or even motorcycles with carrying many packets, sometimes carrying a mattress or anything, almost with no hands on the bike. So Swami often brings those funny examples of India. You don't lose your balance once you got your balance to become a cycle bicycle rider. The same way, once you get this knowledge, you find a balance, a conviction, a certainty that allows you emotional balance dealing with the world. And then he says the same way the bicycle people there in the traffic in India finds the balance in traffic, in crazy traffic. So the yoni is meant to find balance while intense transactions, stressful transaction, or adverse transactions. So one develops more and more this balance, even during some crisis of life. This is called nishta, a firm balance, tattva nishta. You do not deviate, you don't forget, you remain in the back, in your subconscious mind, you know that, and that is there. Therefore, it is a proper, assimilated, internalized self-knowledge in regards to one's higher nature. Life becomes a drama. Life was a drama before, and now it continues to be a drama. Just you are not anymore one of the players in the drama. You are the watcher of the play of the drama. Huh? Those are all hints of the benefits or hints in regards to the way the yani, yeah, experience itself or one's life. So he does not forget. I'm the spectator here, although I'm playing a role as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a daughter, or whatever. I'm playing several roles, but fundamentally, I'm just watching the show. Yeah? I don't identify with any of these roles or players. Uh, you can play any role the same way a very famous actor may play the role sometimes as the villain and sometimes as the what's the opposite of villain?
A hero or a
Hero.
heroine.
Yeah, heroine or hero. You are going to get this kind of balance. And then he says, going to the green room, yeah? Once you stop playing, is going to your nididhyasana. So you just do this application or remembrance of self-knowledge until it's no longer needed. How long you have to do this? Uh, until it's hard and fast, not subject to losing or forgetting one's real nature. How long? So, who knows? Okay? Who knows? I don't know. Huh? All I know is that I was blessed with this self-recognition, this self-knowledge. I was blessed with the opportunity of sharing this knowledge. And this is a sort of nididhyasana. Whether I need it or not, I don't know. You understand? The point here is to know. And does it require maintenance? I don't know. They say that once it's properly assimilated, it does not require much. But at the same time, scripture here and there say, but it is recommend that you keep associating to your guru and the scriptures. Why? Because ignorance is really snake. It's really tricky. You know, can play tricks until I no longer forget my real nature. I interact with the world, never losing the sight of my center of gravity, Aham Brahmasmi. Okay, remaining in samadhi naturally after this knowledge is nistha knowledge, firm knowledge. One does not deviate from one's knowledge of true nature. Now, because the true nature is there, either in the mind of the self-ignorant, or the self-realized, but it's the knowledge. I don't deviate from the certainty of self-knowledge, even during transactions. And then Swami again brings the concept of Sahaja Samadhi, which was a concept that I loved in the old days, much before Vedanta, because I understood that that was a natural samadhi somehow gained by profound understanding. Now I was getting those notions through my interactions with the words of Nisargadatta and Ramana. When I deliberate practice this nididhyasana, yeah, we call it samadhi. When I no longer practice, it's called sahaja samadhi, another way to present that. Okay, so once I have to practice, now I need deliberate effort. It's called nididhyasana. So nididhyasana is the last stage in the process of assimilation and internalization of self-knowledge. Once the knowledge is internalized, and then the knowledge is there, and I don't need get to make up any more effort for further internalizing. I have digested the knowledge, and then it said it's a natural samadhi, meaning to say effortless samadhi. Therefore, the fourth definition is what? The fourth definition is what? Here, Yanni is in the center of gravity of himself. Therefore, the fourth definition is what? Tattva nistha, firm, a firm and always available self-knowledge. A hard and fast self-knowledge in the language of of shining world. Let's see what comes with the verse 22. One should know that to be samadhi, attaining which one does not consider any other attainment to be superior to that, and remaining which one is not shaken even by great calamity. So now he brings again two more definitions. So it is a definition that you lose interest in more better knowledge as a means to feel more better in regards to myself, to complete myself, the knowledge that puts an end to the need for more knowledge as a means to satisfy and complete yourself. You got the knowledge, which is the fundamental knowledge, the true nature of everything which exists in the field of objective scientific knowledge or non-scientific. So now you got that knowledge, and you know that that knowledge has satisfied me, so that I have a dispassion now, even in regards to more knowledge. So what kind of yarn is that? Oh yeah, it's just one of those babas that do not even read the scriptures anymore and just like to sit and waiting its karma to exhaust. Huh? So this is a samadhi. So those babas sitting there with no interest, with total dispassion towards knowing anything more, is samadhi, because he attained a knowledge which is the most superior, a knowledge which is not forgetful to subject to forgetfulness, revision and corrections and so on. And it's a knowledge that is not shaken. So these are now his father talking about the hardness and firmness of this self-knowledge, unshakable self-knowledge. Another aspect of samadhi. Two more definitions. When a person owns up one's nature as purna, whole, full, and complete, non-dual, conscious existence, he's not going to feel like anything is missing or lacking. He's not going to be chasing, seeing people, circumstance, uh, because the person got one's nature as Purnatvam. So now I'm whole, I'm complete. So I'm satisfied. I don't need to gain or know anything more. So this is the definition that we've seen in the previous one. Yeah? When I own up this nature, thereafter I do not miss anything in life. And since I do not miss anything in life, whatever I enjoy because of my Purna nature, so any and everything that I enjoy in life, sensory speaking, is like a luxury. So I'm satisfied even about getting more knowledge as a means to complete myself. Now Swami goes about talking about the notion of luxury. So here and there in the past, I read Swamiji saying that in the beginning, certain things were known to be luxury. But luxury, we got so used to certain luxury, especially in the USA, that luxury became started turning to become simple necessities. You understand? So now it's no longer a luxury. So it's like in the old days in the USA in the 50s, 60s, three small bedroom house was a house for a family of five, couple and three children. And it was I forgot the square feet footage of such a house. It's 1100 or 1200, they say. And nowadays, so a family like that wants a 2,500 square foot home in the United States because it's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity because we got spoiled. Huh? So here he's talking about luxury. The Jnani is that sees everything as a luxury, but in the true sense, not a necessity. So it's able to live a simple life, knowing that whatsoever comes as a luxury. Luxury is something that when it comes, I enjoy, but in the absence of luxury, I'm fine because everything I need is provided by the Lord. Luxury is what is that which you truly enjoy when available. When it's not available, you do not miss at all. Uh, Therefore, the sannyasis are invited to live a very simple life, simplifying one's life so that you don't turn luxuries into necessities, because then you are bound to those objects of experience. And then Swami goes about talking about some examples. You don't have a car, you don't go by bus, and then you get an old car, and then the car was a luxury, now it's a necessity. He presents every other examples, and then the public transportation is not an option for you because a car is a necessity. I raise the bar of my demands to life. So, and then if I'm hooked with having an old car, and then I can't live without it, and then I'm bound to that object. That object is no longer a luxury. I feel bad when I don't have things that I consider to be a necessity, although they were luxury before. For Yanni, everything in life is like a luxury. Every blessing is a luxury. Our very existence is already such a gift. Anything on top is luxury. Therefore, when they are around these things, the Yanni will truly enjoy, and when they are not, the Yanni is not going to miss it. That's the point. So a sense of satisfaction that makes the Yanni to feel much more self-contained than or Yannis, much more. I'm content in myself. I'm satisfied with myself. I don't need things, people, circumstances, to make me happy. Dayananda Swami talks about sannyas in Rishikesh. He presents another example here. There is an institution there that gives diksha and a meal to them every day. Because they give it all the time, they give a very simple one. It's just in the morning chapati with a little dal, very, very thin dal. In the evening, another kind of roti with the same dal, soup of dal. And that is the basis there. and every once in a while, when the ashram gets some big chunk of donation, when the ashram has some special celebration, and then they offer a luxury bhiksha, and then they give a complete Indian meal with vegetables and puris, chapatis, which are not as thin that you can look through, but a thick chapati, and all these things inherent to the Indian culture. So if you make things to be a necessity, you will depend. If you make things around you to be a luxury, you're going to have a sense of freedom and independence. That's the bottom line. Krishna says, having on up one's nature as Purnatvam, all the other goals of life, including more knowledge, all other accomplishments of things and money and status, they become what? They become just irrelevant. They are not seen as important gains, you know. They are down there. I mean, the yani must be dispassionate to a degree which is much superior than the anyani, of course. The yanis are not going to need more gains. Once one can go without those gains. Therefore, any other gain is just insignificant. It's, oh, if you insist, okay. Okay, Ishwara, I will take that one. All other gains becomes not really much relevant or insignificant in front of this gain, which is the gain of that which was not gained, but it was just owned as my Purna nature. Therefore, what is the fifth definition of Samadhi in this verse? It is the highest gain in front of which all the other gains are insignificant. So it's a dispassion towards other knowledge as a means to complete myself. I think it's more about knowledge. Let me read again. One should know that with samadhi, attaining which one does not consider any other attainment to be superior to that, and remaining which one is not shaken by. No, it's not knowledge. I project knowledge in there because this samadhi is gained by knowledge, and that's the knowledge that put an end to the need of more knowledge. But it's generally speaking, it's accomplished or gaining or attaining other things of this world. We talk about a powerful sense of dispassion towards gaining any other things in this world. Resilience, resistance, strength, balance. Therefore, any other gain becomes kind of insignificant. All other gains becoming in front of this accomplishment. So, bottom line, samadhi is a state that gained by understanding one's true nature, and this is the highest gain. It's not really a gain, but understand, owning, claiming. And this apparent gain, which is not a gain, but this state of the yani, transformed by Atmayana, is such an apparent gain, experiential gain as well, in front of which all other gains, they look very small. That's why the yanis, they don't chase other goals in life in general. They just relax. They don't chase money, they don't chase relationships, sex, properties, or, it's just like, okay, I have gained that which is the most valuable. And then comes the sixth definition in the same verse. Remaining in this is a firm and all and always present self-knowledge. It's called the nishta, atmanista, atmayana nista. So you don't lose this. In analogy, is as if now I transact in this world from without losing my center of gravity. What is the center? Uh, in generally speaking, in the world, in the spiritual circles I travel through in my process, there was this concept since I was very young that I said, don't lose your center, don't lose your center. You guys remember that? And then we always think, so it must be my physical center, no, it's my emotional center, so I cannot lose my manners, my emotional center, you know? So here it's presented as a center, but it's a profound center. It's my Purnatvan center, you know, the center of my true nature as limitless consciousness. You know? So if you are really balanced and centered, not losing this certainty of self-knowledge, as if you are transacting the world, not losing your balance or your center of gravity, and then what happens? You you are going to get great strength. You're not going to be easily shocked by, shaken by even tragedies in life. So it's a stage remaining in which one is not shaken by even the worst tragedy. Nothing is really capable to shake the Yanni to the extent that he lose his certainty of self-knowledge, and it's the Viveka, you know, because it's easy to say, oh no, I don't forget this knowledge, but how about your Viveka at the very moment of adversity? So it should be minimized any variation in terms of my ability of discriminating, you know, as interacting, you know. So all the function of the body mind sense complex should be benefit to an extent that you're gonna have a more clear, more focused, more discerning and discriminating mind, even through great shaking adversities. The Yanni may, for a moment, say, "Oh, fuck, what?" But immediately the Yanni is going to correct itself or itself or herself and say, "Oh, that's bad news, but so what?" No? Right, right, obviously, so what? Nothing is forever in this apparent order of reality. Things is just about going up and down. Finally enough, everything sums to zero, and we lose everything in the end. So what? Uh, but a moment may come that the young may say, "Oh my God, what?" But it's so rare, you know, it's so rare, those reactions. Even what may be a terrible news later, the Yanni asks, "So what?" Everything in life is subject to arrival and departure. The report, Guru Napi, even the worst sorry, even the worst sorry, the heaviest sorrow, sorrow sorry, the worst sorry, the heaviest sorrow, not the sorrow caused by the Guru. I don't know what he's talking about. So here, Guru is not a noun, it is an adjective, even by the heaviest sorrow, and therefore freedom from psychological suffering, freedom from sorrow, which is one of the definitions of moksha. Freedom, freedom from what? From ignorance. Oh, but I'm not interested in knowledge interest. I'm interested in be free from suffering. Oh no, but it comes as a bonus. Okie dokie. Anything from you guys? Any comments? I don't want to go into the next because we are not going to have time. Uh, you find this chapter six interesting?
I'm loving it. And all these different qualities I see every day now, growing every day.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
Great news. That's wonderful. We need to make sure that it works, and then we need to live our life. Not that we want to prove or give example to anybody, but to ourselves. No, it does work really, you know. And then we can recommend somebody. Oh, maybe you're suffering. Your first thing is to get the proper diagnosis, and then you have to take a certain medicine, a remedy. Oh, how you know? Because it worked for me. Yeah. Okie dokie. Right, Mark?
Yeah. It reminded me, do you remember that guy, Dave, that American guy who was on one of your courses years ago? I remember he said, I don't do things to make me happy. I do things because I am happy.
Yeah.
This early part of the satsang today reminded me of that quote.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah, this is a very Vedantic concept, which is I don't do things for for fulfillment. You know, I do things from my fulfillment. I don't do things for completion, but I do things for a sense of completion and satisfaction. Huh? I don't do things from to getting happiness, but from happiness. I don't do things to get love, but I do things from love itself. So this is a transformation that is possible for all of us. Very good. Is it worth it?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay. And even if it's worse or not worse, I mean, it's a good hobby, it's a good play. I mean, what else we gonna do in life? Rather than just tap into our nature and enjoy, you know, a sense of ananda, which is inherent to what we are. There's no better game in life.
No, it's the most beautiful journey in life. I'm sure of that.
Beautiful. Well said. Yeah. Well said. Only a mature person can say that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. We meet again Monday. Om Mandukya.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Felipe, for express your gratitude in English.